Hello and welcome to the channel. My name is Dr. Gyesie, transformational coach here at Inner Mileage, where we help folks heal, overcome themselves, and live a resonant best life right here, right now. Today we're going to do a deep dive on how narcissistic abuse actually creates empaths who are the immune system of humanity. So we're going to be talking about empaths as the immune system of humanity, particularly when you're walking up from narcissistic abuse. And in here, we're going to talk about narcissistic abuse as it resembles biological dysfunction and how empaths play a critical role in healing humanity, much like immune cells that keep a body alive and healthy. I'll be your guide for the next few minutes whilst we go through this. Settle in. And let's explore how empaths are not just victims of narcissistic abuse, but they're actually agents of evolution, essential to the survival and thriving of life on Earth. So let's go into an overview of the journey ahead. Firstly, we're going to cover narcissism through evolutionary biology, how empaths function like immune cells of humanity, the role of stress and adversity in evolution and growth, what ancient spiritual texts tell us about empathy and trials, and how co-evolution shapes narcissists and empaths together, and why empaths are light workers, and how life takes care of life, what your role is in this grand design. So anyway, it's simply put, using evolutionary biology as the lens to look at narcissistic abuse and the role of empaths. So let's start by understanding empaths, before we go into empaths, understanding narcissists as malignant cells or parasitic organisms. So through the lens of evolutionary biology, every cell in the body has a role. Some provide energy, others communicate, and some help the body defend itself. But every now and then a cell becomes rogue. It no longer follows the rule. This is what we call, or what medical professionals call, a cancerous or malignant cell. Similarly, narcissists are individuals whose psychological makeup allows them to extract energy from others without contributing to the social ecosystem. You heard me. They operate like a parasitic organism, taking without giving, depleting without replenishing. And they manipulate relationships, bypass empathy, and prioritize the survival at the expense of others. Do you see? Just as rogue cells in the body deceive healthy cells to allow unregulated growth, narcissists deceive their social circles by providing and presenting a false sense of a false self, charming, likable, and charismatic, masking the harm they cause beneath the surface. So in nature, parasites or parasitic organisms are common. Take the cuckoo bird, for example, which lays its eggs in other birds' nests. The host bird ends up raising the cuckoo's offsprings, often at the expense of their own. This mirrors how narcissists manipulate empaths into emotionally and energetically raising them, while the narcissist demands suffocate the empath's needs. Do you see? So this brings us to the point where we begin to look at empaths as good cells, humanity's immune system. Empaths, in contrast, function like the immune cells of humanity. Think of immune cells like white blood cells, for example. And if any doctors here, just chime in and let us know if what I'm saying is biologically correct. White blood cells, they respond to infection, maintain balance, and restore health. Empaths sense emotional and energetic imbalance, and they are wired to feel others' emotions, much like immune cells scan for threats in the body. And this sensitivity makes them indispensable in maintaining harmony within families, workplaces, and communities. But being the immune system as an empath comes at a cost, because immune cells work tirelessly, sometimes to the point of exhaustion. Similarly, empaths often suffer burnout and compassion fatigue. Yet just as the immune system protects the body from collapse, empaths protect the emotional integrity of humanity. Now let's talk about how stress drives evolution. In evolutionary biology, organisms evolve through challenges. Predators force prey to become faster, and harsh environments push plants to grow stronger. Similarly, the emotional stress caused by narcissists force empaths to evolve, to set boundaries, to protect their energy and develop emotional balance. And the evolutionary term for this is adaptive pressure. In other words, without pressure, life becomes stagnant. Just as muscles grow stronger through resistance, empaths grow through emotional challenges. The ancient spiritual texts have long understood that hardship is necessary for growth. In fact, the Bhagavad Gita from Advaita Vedanta teaches us that trials refine the soul, much like fire refines gold. That's alchemy. In the Bible, for example, suffering is compared to the refiner's fire, a process that burns away impurities to reveal the soul's true essence. Do you see? Buddhist teachings also remind us that suffering is not the enemy, it is the teacher. And I really relate to this. Empaths, through their encounters with narcissists, undergo a kind of spiritual purification. And these experiences crack empaths open, revealing their deepest gifts and activating their purpose as healers and guides. Now, here we want to look at the kind of the dance between narcissists and empaths, particularly looking at this evolutionary timeline. So empaths and narcissists engage in what biologists call co-evolution. Just as predators and prey shape each other's evolution, narcissists and empaths push each other to evolve emotionally and spiritually. And narcissists challenge empaths to become stronger and more discerning, while empaths model healthy relationships and emotional intelligence for others. The dance is not easy. It's essential because it's through these challenges that the empath learns to embody the highest potential. In other words, if the empath, as an empath, if you didn't have your boundaries breached, if you didn't have to deal with gaslighting, lies, manipulation, all of these things that are created by the narcissist to distort the reality of the empath. Because once the reality of the empath is distorted, then the empath begins to live in a place of stress and worry. When the empath is in a place of stress and worry, particularly reminded that the unhealed empath is driven by the need to connect. And so would want to connect and heal and do things for people because they want to heal and connect. And this is how the narcissist, through Weta spells, casts spells to manipulate the mind of the empath, who is in love with this narcissist because of love bombing, something that the empath later finds was an illusion and not real. So of course, if you love someone, you want to do things for them and do things with them. You don't expect or suspect, whether it's an intimate relationship, which is what I'm referencing, or familiar relationship, or social relationship, or business relationship, that these factors are still the same. So you find that you're actually there because of your empathy, and you are sort of like an energy charger for the narcissist, because the narcissist has no fundamental sense of being. That's why they create a false self, and that's why they need energy from those who have boundless good energy to give, i.e. an empath. And this is how this dance between the empaths and the narcissist, particularly an empath that is unhealed. Because once an empath heals, there's no way, of course they can still attract narcissists because the light attracts all kinds, but there's no way a healed empath will get into a relationship with a narcissist, you see? So when this happens, empaths begin to realize that they're actually light workers and healers. And it doesn't matter what field or industry you're in. You could be in technology, or you could be in health and wellness like I am in, or sports or some other thing that is bringing good to humanity, right? Some people often reference Steve Jobs and his proclivity for the spiritual world, because he spent a lot of time in Ramana Ashram and going to India. And although he was harsh and brash because of his commitment to technology that improved lives, he was still very committed to the spiritual journey, right? So empaths cut across all industries, for example. But when this happens, empaths begin to realize that we're actually light workers, and these trials are initiation rites, just like you're initiated by a sorority or fraternity or masonry or some other fraternal or other order. And you realize that these initiation rites prepare empaths to fulfill purpose in the world. And how many people actually get to live and fulfill their purpose? It's not common to actually say, I am in my purpose. So the reward for the trials is that as a light worker, you get to walk into your purpose. And when empaths overcome narcissistic abuse, they don't just heal themselves, they become a beacon of light for others. They show the world what it means to love deeply, what it means to heal fully, and to live authentically. So when empaths are in this energy, one might say, well, what's all this goodness and compassion and woo-woo stuff all about? Well, as I've pointed out in evolutionary biology, how good cells beget more good cells, life is designed to take care of life. And this is a direct quote from spiritual teacher Muji. Life takes care of life. That spiritual teacher I greatly respect. Ecosystems are built on cooperation. For example, plants provide oxygen, animals disperse seeds, and everything in nature has a role. So empaths are part of this divine system, this divine matrix, as Greg Braden would say, working quietly to restore balance and harmony wherever they go. And even though narcissists disrupt the system, they inadvertently push empaths to step into their true power. And when the empaths rise, they bring healing not just to themselves, but to the entire ecosystem of life. So if you've experienced narcissistic abuse, you know that your suffering is not in vain. Like immune cells fighting to protect the body, your empathy is a gift the world needs. And every time you set a boundary, every time you choose self-love, you strengthen not only yourself, but the entire human family. Remember, life takes care of life, and you're part of that divine care system. Thank you for joining. And if this resonates with you, type transform in the comment section, or book a free session on my website, innermileage.com, or send me a message at nana@innermileage.com. And remember, there's absolutely no one like you. Peace.